Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the NSMA award winner interviews. I'm joined with the voice of the Wisconsin Badgers, Matt Lepay. Matt, how are you doing today?
Good to be on with you.
Thank you so much for joining us. The first question I wanted to ask you is the sports media industry can be one that's pretty difficult to get into. So, how did you get your start in the sports media industry as a commentator?
Well, probably the route that you're going right now. I didn't go to Wake Forest, but I went to uh, Ohio State University, not the Ohio State University, but got involved with the student radio station. We were calling hockey. We called a little bit of baseball. And after graduation, worked in a couple smaller markets. Did a lot of high school baseball, high school basketball, high school football, and just try to get enough reps where I felt like if there was a job that opened up, I could at least put together a competitive demo. And that was in 1988, long before you were born. Got the opportunity to call games for Wisconsin for basketball only for a few years, and then about 6 years later, started doing football along with it, and been here ever since.
Thank you so much for that answer. And then, what does this award mean to you? Clearly, you're an 11-time Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year award winner. So, you're definitely a veteran in terms of winning this award. Is it any different than winning your first one? Obviously, the 11th time.
No, it's humbling. It's humbling to be nominated, quite honestly. I know that's probably a cliche answer, but I mean, these are peer awards. It's people who like we kind of like what this person does. We like the work ethic of this person. Hopefully, that's what they're thinking. So, to be nominated is really humbling, and to win it, that's I usually vote for somebody else, or I always vote for someone else, I should say. I think in our state, we're really fortunate. There's great talent. Wayne Larrabee with football, Brian Anderson, Jeff Levering, who was last year's broadcaster, the sportscaster of the year in our state. There's a number of women who I want to continue to see uh, get their names out there for awards like this. Sophia Minert and a lot of local television reporters in Madison and Milwaukee and throughout the state. But it's humbling to win it. I guess it just means I'm old to have won a few of these, but there is a certain amount of pride that goes with it. I'd be lying if I said otherwise.
Absolutely. It's a great honor to be nominated by your peers for an award like this. And congratulations again on winning your 11th award. Obviously, the face of Badger athletics in terms of commentating, you've been there for a while and you're very well respected within the industry. Do you have a favorite season or set of games from calling Badger athletics that you'd like to talk about?
You know what? The basketball season that just ended was one of the most enjoyable that I'd been around. I mean, I've been with teams that have gone to three Final Fours. I mean, you have to include those in the conversation, right? But this basketball team this season was picked to finish 10th in the Big Ten. They had lost a lot to graduation, and a couple guys transferred, and nobody really knew what to expect. So the expectations, if you had to pick where Wisconsin would finish, it would probably be the lower half of the Big Ten. And the fact that they won a share of the conference championship, they had one of the best players in the country in Johnny Davis, who was just a joy to watch. But the whole team was fun to watch. There was a toughness about them. They defied a lot of the metrics. They didn't shoot the ball all that well, but they won 25 games. So a little recency bias to the answer, but this was one of the most enjoyable basketball seasons that I've had in 34 years of calling this. For football, man, I always go back to the Ron Dane years in the late 90s, 98, 99, still the only Big Ten team to win the Rose Bowl in back-to-back seasons. The 99 year, the year that Ron won the Heisman, it was electric. The build up to it, the last game of the regular season, when he knew exactly how many yards he needed to rush for to set the all-time NCAA career record. And he did it on a beautiful day against a rival. Wisconsin won, clinched a Rose Bowl berth, and Ron set the record and secured the Heisman. That's probably the standard by which all other teams are measured against up here.
Thank you so much for that answer. Other than Ron, do you have a favorite player that you've appreciated calling or that you've enjoyed watching during your time at Wisconsin?
Yeah, it's a long list. It really is. Melvin Gordon, great running back. a lot of years now in the NFL. He had a game where he rushed for 408 yards, which was a record for 1 week. And then Samaje Perine of Oklahoma broke it the following week. But it was just a crazy game that he had. Boy, so many great players through the years at Wisconsin. They got a young man now who's a lot of fun to watch. His name is Braylon Allen, a freshman running back who's strong as a bull and runs really well and had a big year. Those are names that, Melvin comes to mind right away. Russell Wilson, the year he had at quarterback here in 2011, he was an electrifying performer in his single season at Wisconsin, and obviously has gone on to a great career. The Watts, all of them, JJ, TJ, Derek, really had terrific careers at Wisconsin, and they've done fairly well, it seems, in the NFL as well. Those are players right away. Basketball, I mean, Michael Finley, who played in the 90s, who just had his jersey retired during this past season with Wisconsin. Very respected NBA player, and now working with the Dallas Mavericks. Devin Harris, great player 20 years ago, which is hard to believe. And then Johnny here, but Frank Kaminsky, that whole group, Sam Decker, the back-to-back Final Four teams. It's a long answer because it's a long list. There's been a lot of really fun players to watch, and I think more importantly, fun guys to get to know.
Absolutely. Wisconsin is definitely a talent powerhouse, and I'm sure there's been a lot of fun guys to watch. Obviously, being someone that's so well respected in your industry, a lot of future aspiring broadcasters such as myself really look up to you. Do you have any advice for aspiring broadcasters as the next generation of sports broadcasters comes into the limelight?
Well, you're following advice that I would give because you're doing things. You're getting on the air. You're conducting interviews. I think versatility is really valued. The more, like in sports, the more positions you can play, the more valuable you can be. And I think in our industry, it's the same thing. If you want to do play-by-play, get involved in doing play-by-play as much as you can. If it's calling high school games, if it's getting into an empty booth at a minor league baseball game, or whatever event we're talking about, just get yourself repetitions. I still think there's value in being able to write well, which might sound a little strange in the broadcasting business, but I still think the written word can matter. But learn your interviewing techniques, be a good listener. But the thing that I tell people all the time, and I'm not the only one, Brian Anderson with the Brewers and Turner Sports, he would tell you the same thing. But I'm a big believer in being a great teammate, or as we say very simply, don't be a jerk. Because when there's a job opening, there could be 300 candidates for that position. So if you seem like you might be a tough person to get along with, if you're not coachable, why would they hire you? Because there are a lot of other candidates out there. And just being a decent person can allow you some mistakes. You say, hey, we could work with this guy. He'll listen to, or gal, they'll listen to what we're saying. And whatever job you're in, treat it like it's the most important job out there. Don't always think about, if I'm working in this market, I want to be in Chicago or Atlanta or wherever in 6 months. Be the best you in the job you're in and the market you're in. Be the best teammate you can be. The business can be very difficult. Don't get me wrong. But I think there's something to be said for common human decency. I tell people you would be surprised at what that can do for you.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Matt Lepay, everyone, 11-time Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, Ian. Take care and all the best to you.